We have seen Meghan give really piercing looks to anyone that dares to steal the spotlight from her. But this moment when Harry forgot to ask permission to talk is special for one disturbing reason that you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. This was a meeting with young leaders of the Commonwealth when Harry and Meghan were still working royals. They were chatting outdoors, taking turns to share their ideas, and then this moment happened. They are in sort of a circle. Harry is the one talking at that moment, and we can guess that everyone was listening to him. Way to go, Harry! Pretty normal situation if it wasn't for Meghan's reaction, especially with her face. We are used to Meghan's mask slipping when she's trying to come out as nice, and then, for a split second, she displays an absolutely different emotion. But these 30 seconds have a special ingredient that we have not seen before. And one of the characteristics of that special ingredient happens right at the beginning of the clip. This is right before Harry begins to talk. There's a woman that we cannot see because she has her back to the camera and she's talking to the Sussexes. We can spot that both Harry and Meghan are looking directly into her eyes. Well, there's the issue that both of them look really tense in their facial expressions. Meghan is trying to smile, but she's failing, and Harry is showing some disgust. We don't know what is the topic that is being addressed, but let's guess that it's something delicate or controversial, and maybe that's the reason why they display those faces. If this is a meeting of young leaders of the Commonwealth, they could be talking about specific challenges of their nations that could be concerning or controversial topics. But then Meghan does this. I'm sure you spotted this gesture right at the beginning or the first time you saw the clip. She gave that up and down look that was a bit mean. Well, it could happen that the woman was holding something in her hands and she was showing it or making a reference with a hand gesture, and it would make sense to look at her midsection or her hands, because the woman was actually gesturing at that moment. But both Harry and the man behind them never looked down, so there was no explicit reason to give that look to the woman. Also, there's a big difference when someone turns their head and eyes purposefully at the same time, and something really different when someone keeps their head fixed and just lowers their gaze. You know, like scanning and scrutinizing the other person. That's what happens here, and that's why Meghan's look projects a negative or even hostile feeling. She's literally giving the woman an up-down look right on her face, and nobody likes to be seen like that from anyone. Well, maybe Ryan Gosling gets a free pass just for that meme. Of course, this can also happen by accident if you're establishing eye contact and want to rest your eyes for a split second. Make sure you do it to the sides to avoid this kind of looks on other people. But that's when Harry begins to talk and this happens. It's important to remember that when Meghan talks or she's giving a public speech or the spotlight is on her in any way, she always has her face muscles relaxed. The moment someone else begins to talk or interrupts her or upsets her presence in any way, this is the same pattern all the time. First of all, the tension in her jaw. You can spot jaw tension in many ways, especially in the way the sides of the jaw muscles, tense. This is easier to spot in people with thinner fat layers on their faces or overall low body fat, because the jaw muscles are more noticeable. There's also that chin jut that is visible when the person projects their chin forward. That is a very easy signal to spot and interpret because the meaning is almost always concealed anger or frustration. By all means, a chin jut signals a strong emotion at the moment. But it's not only the jaw projection, it's also the fact that she's moving her lips at the same time and showing her lower teeth. As in every other body language analysis, we begin to stack clues to reach a better conclusion. And showing your lower teeth is also a sign of being upset or concealed anger and frustration. Also, the fact that she's moving her lips at the same time that Harry is talking is like she really wanted to talk at that moment or control in some way whatever Harry was saying at that time. There's yet another signal, and it's the muscles of her neck. They are tense. Yes, she is turning her head to Harry, and that posture in itself makes the neck's muscles to act. But when you take a good look at the complete image of her torso, her neck, and her head, you can actually feel a great deal of tension that is absolutely unnecessary for a posture as simple as this. Yeah, the Duchess was absolutely triggered. Now, Meghan tries to cool down looking away from Harry. When she does that, we get two more signals of the same emotion. She presses her lips, and to be fair, this is something that can only be spotted by watching the clip in slow motion. Because that's how you can spot that her lip shape changes and she's pouting just a bit. There's a handful of ways that someone can press their lips, but all of them signal frustration to some degree. That's important to remember because it can happen in just a split second. Just like the split second where you can see Meghan's jaw clenching, the same teeth grinding that we have seen so many times and that she displays in moments of intense emotion. This is what's so disturbing about Meghan in these situations. I can understand that she could be upset at a specific moment, but she does that almost all the time. And you might think that since she does this all the time, then it's part of her body language baseline. But the problem is that she is not doing that jaw clenching in a way to emphasize her communication. She is doing it to vent an emotion. So does that mean that she's venting emotions all the time? Well, yes, especially when people are paying attention to someone else. But the real protagonist of this clip is Meghan's blinking. Blinking is a very easy to spot body language clue because we are always looking at people's faces and eyes. And even if I don't think it's a good idea if you're a beginner in body language to try to count people's blinking, you still should have a general idea when someone's blinking rate is higher than normal. In this case, Meghan blinks 29 times over 17 seconds. That is an average of almost twice every second. Really high and absolutely in sync with the fact of being upset, nervous, or trying to conceal a strong emotion such as anger. This is not like we're spotting a single body language clue and calling it a day. No body language analysis can be done with just one signal, but we are looking at less than half a minute of footage of Meghan interacting with other people in a public engagement. Harry is trying to express an idea, and this is what we get. A strong, concealed anger reaction of Meghan to Harry speaking at that moment. And that is consistent with similar displays from Meghan from many other instances when someone else was speaking and she had to wait for her turn or had to wait for others to finish. This is much more than being impatient, and that's one of the reasons why Meghan is seen as narcissistic over and over again. Because no matter how charismatic can a narcissist be, they will absolutely hate not being the center of attention. And in their facial emotions, they're going to display subtle reactions like this, as how you can spot them even when they are not saying a word. Just make sure you practice observing people every time you can. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips. Body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.